Hey there, eh? Canada. Land of maple syrup, hockey, and crippling housing costs? Sadly, yes, Canada used to be synonymous with opportunity. A place where hard work meant a good life. A detached house, a backyard barbecue, maybe even a cottage by the lake. But lately, that dream has started to feel more like a fantasy. The cost of living has skyrocketed, and the housing market is more terrifying than a Stephen King novel. So, what's happened to the Great White North? Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get real. Let's talk about housing. Remember that adorable little bungalow you've always wanted? Yeah, good luck affording that now. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, finding a decent apartment feels like winning the lottery. And the prices? Let's just say they're enough to make your eyeballs pop out. It's not just the big cities feeling the squeeze. Smaller towns are seeing prices climb too. So, what's the average Canadian supposed to do? Live in an igloo made of credit card debt? Don't laugh, it might come to that. Housing is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. The dream of owning a home is slipping further and further away for many Canadians. Prices have skyrocketed to the point where even saving for a down payment feels like an impossible task. And it's not just the cost of buying a home. Rent prices are through the roof too. People are spending more than half their income just to keep a roof over their heads. It's a crisis that's affecting everyone, from young professionals to families and retirees. The cost of everything else has gone bonkers too. It's not just housing, it's the everyday essentials that are becoming unaffordable. Walking through a supermarket feels like navigating a minefield of high prices. Every aisle is a reminder of how much more we're paying for the same items we used to buy without a second thought. Groceries? Forget about buying avocados. You're lucky if you can afford a bag of potatoes these days. The price of fresh produce has soared, making it difficult for families to maintain a healthy diet. Even staples like bread and milk have seen significant price hikes. It's a struggle to fill the cart without emptying your wallet. Gas? Filling up your tank feels like you're donating a kidney. The cost of fuel has become a major burden for commuters and families alike. Every trip to the gas station is a painful reminder of how much more we're paying just to get from point A to point B. It's not just the cost of gas, it's the ripple effect it has on everything else, from transportation to the price of goods. And don't even get me started on childcare costs. For working parents, finding affordable daycare is like searching for a needle in a haystack. The fees are astronomical, and the waiting lists are endless. It's a constant juggling act to balance work and family life, and the financial strain is overwhelming. You practically need a second mortgage just to afford daycare. The cost of childcare is so high that it often makes more financial sense for one parent to stay home, even if it means sacrificing a career. It's a tough decision that many families are forced to make, and it has long-term implications for their financial stability and future opportunities. It's enough to make you want to move to a remote cabin in the woods and live off the land. The idea of escaping the financial pressures and living a simpler life is tempting, but the reality is that most of us can't just drop everything and move to the wilderness. We have responsibilities, jobs, and families to consider. But then you remember the price of bug spray. Even the cost of trying to escape the hustle and bustle comes with its own set of expenses. From outdoor gear to basic supplies, nothing is truly free. It's a reminder that no matter where we go, the cost of living is always lurking in the background, making it harder to find peace of mind. So what can we do? Communities are coming together to find solutions. Farmers markets and community gardens are becoming more popular as people look for ways to reduce their grocery bills and support local agriculture. It's a small step, but every little bit helps. Carpooling and using public transportation are other ways people are trying to cut costs. Biking to work or school not only saves money on gas but also promotes a healthier lifestyle. These small changes can add up and make a significant difference in our overall expenses. The rise of remote work has also provided some relief. Working from home eliminates the need for daily commutes and can reduce childcare costs. However, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and many jobs still require a physical presence. Financial planning and budgeting have never been more important. Seeking advice from financial advisors and using budgeting tools can help manage expenses and plan for the future. It's about making informed decisions and finding ways to stretch every dollar. Ultimately, it's about community and support. Leaning on each other, sharing resources, and finding collective solutions can help us navigate these challenging times. We're all in this together, and together, we can find ways to make life a little more affordable. Now, before you grab your pitchforks, let's be clear. Immigration is not the problem. Canada has always been a nation of immigrants, and diversity is one of our strengths. But there's no denying that a rapidly growing population puts a strain on housing and infrastructure. More people means more demand for homes, schools, and hospitals. And when the supply can't keep up, guess what happens? Prices go up, 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 like a squirrel on a sugar rush climbing a maple tree. Section 5. Public opinion, a nation divided. As you can imagine, this whole cost of living crisis has got Canadians feeling a bit, well, tense. Some folks are pointing fingers at immigration, saying it's the root of the problem. Others are blaming the government for not building enough affordable housing. The truth is, it's a complicated issue with no easy answers. But one thing's for sure, Canadians are feeling squeezed and they're looking for someone to blame. Section 6. The Canadian paradox, growing economy, shrinking wallets. Here's the kicker, Canada's economy is actually doing pretty well. We've got low unemployment, strong industries, and a stable government. So why do so many Canadians feel like they're drowning in debt? It's the great Canadian paradox. A growing economy alongside a shrinking middle class. The problem is, the benefits of this economic growth aren't being shared equally. While the rich are getting richer, the rest of us are struggling to keep our heads above water. Section 7. Bearing the brunt, students and temporary residents. And let's not forget about the most vulnerable groups in this whole mess, students and temporary residents. Imagine trying to study for exams when you're worried sick about making rent, or trying to build a new life in a new country when you can barely afford a place to live. These groups often face the highest housing costs and the fewest options. They're stuck in a system that feels rigged against them, struggling to make ends meet. Section 8. Government response, a patchwork of promises. So what's the government doing about all this? The housing crisis, the immigration challenges, the economic disparities, these are all pressing issues that demand immediate attention. Well, they're trying, sort of. Politicians often make grand promises during election campaigns, but the reality of governance is far more complex. There have been some initiatives to increase affordable housing, such as funding for new construction projects and incentives for developers to build more low-cost units. But it's a drop in the bucket compared to what's needed. The demand for affordable housing far outstrips the supply, leaving many families struggling to find a place to live. And while they've tinkered with immigration levels, adjusting quotas and streamlining processes, the system remains overwhelmed. It's a politically charged issue that no one wants to touch with a 10-foot pole. Immigration policy is a hot-button topic that can make or break political careers, leading to cautious and often ineffective measures. The problem is, there's no easy fix. The issues are deeply rooted and multifaceted, requiring more than just surface-level solutions. It's going to take a concerted effort from all levels of government, from local municipalities to provincial authorities and federal agencies, to address these challenges effectively. Along with some serious policy changes, including reforms in zoning laws, increased funding for social programs, and more robust support for newcomers, to make Canada affordable again. The dream of a fair and equitable society is still within reach, but it will require unwavering commitment and innovative thinking from all stakeholders involved. Communities will also play a crucial role. Grassroots movements and local organizations can drive change from the ground up, advocating for the needs of their residents and holding leaders accountable. Initiatives like community gardens, local food banks, and neighborhood support groups can provide immediate relief and foster a sense of solidarity. Education is another key area. By investing in schools and educational programs, we can equip the next generation with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Healthcare access must also be expanded. Ensuring that everyone has access to quality medical care is fundamental to building a healthy and productive society. And let's not forget about sustainability. Investing in renewable energy and green technologies can create jobs and protect our environment for future generations. Social justice movements remind us that equity and fairness should be at the heart of all our policies. Listening to marginalized voices and addressing systemic inequalities is essential for true progress. Ultimately, it's about building a Canada that works for everyone. A place where every individual, regardless of their background or circumstances, has the opportunity to succeed and contribute to the common good. Together, we can weave a patchwork of promises into a vibrant tapestry of reality, creating a nation that truly reflects our shared values and aspirations. Section 9. Conclusion at a crossroads. So there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the highs and lows of what it means to live in Canada today. From the bustling streets of Toronto to the serene parks where families gather, we've seen the beauty and the challenges that define our nation. The Canadian dream is in danger of becoming just that, a dream. Once it was a beacon of hope, a promise of prosperity and equality. But now, for many, it feels like a distant memory, slipping further away with each passing day. The rising cost of living, the housing crisis, the growing inequality, these are not just statistics. They are real issues affecting real people. Families are struggling to make ends meet, young adults are finding it impossible to buy their first home, and the gap between the rich and the poor is widening at an alarming rate. These are all serious challenges that threaten the very fabric of Canadian society. Homelessness is on the rise, public services are stretched thin, and many are losing faith in the system that was supposed to support them. It's a stark contrast to the image of Canada as a land of opportunity and fairness. The question is, what are we going to do about it? How do we address these pressing issues and ensure that the Canadian dream remains within reach for everyone? It will require collective effort, innovative solutions, and a willingness to listen to and support one another. Will we find a way to create a Canada that works for everyone? A Canada where diversity is celebrated, where everyone has access to affordable housing, quality healthcare, and education? A Canada where no one is left behind and everyone has the opportunity to thrive? Or will we continue down this path where only the wealthy can afford to live comfortably, where the divide between the haves and the have-nots grows ever wider, and the promise of a better future becomes increasingly out of reach for so many? The answer, my friends, is up to us. It's up to each and every one of us to take action, to advocate for change, and to support our communities. Together, we can build a Canada that lives up to its ideals, a Canada that truly works for everyone. The future is in our hands, and it's time to make a choice. Let's choose hope, let's choose unity, and let's choose a better tomorrow for all Canadians.